Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
You know some recurring activities will be happening in every customer organization. Performance reviews will be happening every year or mid-year reviews will be happening every year. And quarterly reviews will be happening, mostly across all the customers. There are certain reports that every customer will be having to know what would be the manager rating, what would be the employee rating would have given as part of employee reviews or not. Mostly you'll be getting a request to actually create such kind of reports. Now might be, if they wanted to have a different graphical format, it will go with matrix. But in case if they wanted to have all the details in a tabular format, you obviously go for advanced report. The data source is a matter here. Which data source will give such information and what kind of delivered fields are there? And calc fields has to play a major role here to actually, if you're going with the worker business object, get them from other business object and play around to get the values and all. Calc fields and the report places, the data source plays some major role here. Let's try to see what sources are available in order to get such kind of information. Let's see what are the data sources available for review process. We have multiple review process. And that actually gives all the review related things. And if compensation has to be associated with those reviews, you go with all compensation review process with this source where you can also get the bonus amount that will be associated with the kind of rating that you'll be getting. And a compensation review statement where annual review process will be actually holds in adjustment business object. And this is the source that you'll be actually using for any kind of annual compensation statements. Have you heard something called business intelligence reporting too? Have you heard something about? What did you ask? I was asking you, have you heard something called but business intelligence reporting tools? No. Basically, but is a kind of the mostly not reporting people will be using to actually generate statements actually. copies and all that kind of custom development tool which will be developed outside of a day and that will be attached to the reports. When you actually generate statements like annual compensation statements, review statements, and all, you actually go with these kind of reports. Probably you might be getting a bird requirements also. Since you know you're part of a reporting team, but also would be a kind of a major role that gives all the analytics, kind of outputs when you actually create reports and generate statements and on. Just start exploring in that area. And employee reviews indexed, and when employee wanted to review their own reviews, kind of source that will give current information of that employee. These are all the sources which actually plays an important role in employee review process, be it compensation, be it performance reviews and all. These are all the sources that you can choose to actually get your output in. You know the rating ways or acknowledgement ways and all. You can actually pick any of these sources as per your business requirement. For now, since we wanted to go with employee reviews, we'll go with standard data source called employee review. This manager is a kind of Boolean value which lets employees a manager or not kind of a certain value it will return. If you wanted to run a report for any managers, this is one filter which will help you to filter easily. The same report can be actually created with the worker business object also, but they need to create multiple calculated fields in order to get these values into worker. And the other way is choose the relevant data source and relevant business object to actually go with the same business object. But if you wanted to actually use worker, you can also use, then you need to play around with getting calculated fields to get these values into worker business object. Review templates are nothing, but whenever performance reviews are happening, functionality will be creating templates for this year. This is the template and these are the employees who will be part of this review process. Employees who has joined after this particular date will not be eligible for such kind of reviews. Such kind of setup will be making in review templates and will be filtering with template that we wanted to go with. If you are not filtering entire reviews for all the templates, no system will be returning. Or you can give a prompt. If it is a business report, it can give a prompt for review template. Business can select whatever review period that they wanted to choose and template that they wanted to choose and run a report. These are the templates which will be created every year during annual review process. This template will define who will be part of review process, who will be not part of review process. They launch before review process and once all the ratings, all the discussions with employee one-on-one discussions about performance reviews are completed. They'll be releasing rate for employees, rating for employees to view their performance rating. This report is after the performance appraisal process is done. It's just to publish the results, is it? Publish the ratings and all. What rating that employee has got. Did we add a prompt like this? No, this comes as a kind of built-in prompt. We're going to prompt for that data source. For the data source. If you don't want to get into any kind of building prompts, you need to actually I think this does not have any kind of source filters. Basically, when you go with the employee reviews for organizations, it will ask you for which organization that you want to run a report and for which template that you want to run a report, and select any of the top level organization who was the top level person in the system. Steve Morgan is a top level person who holds top level organization. And I check this checkbox. It will run for all the subordinate organization under the top level organization, which means that it will look for complete organization hierarchy and returns a report. Here is a kind of template to the 17 templates, where this employee has got manager rating 3 and the review period was somewhere around 1. The 1st of Jan 17 to 31st of December for the kind of review period and overall rating of an employee has got. Employee has given in self-evaluation for rating and manager rating has got. Three rating such kind of reviews you know you'll be managing and who are all the individual contributors and managers here. You can filter. Very simple in value returning, as those are all managers. Actually, these are all the managers who has got perform, who are part of performance reviews with their managers with their ratings. Let's say you know typically manage creating a performance of us. Hopefully for you this kind of reports will be helpful whenever you're managing any kind of employee reviews. If these reports are not created, probably it's one-time report creations which can be used for every year. These kind of reports are not there in your tenant for performance reviews, tracking, ratings and all. I think this source will be helpful for you If it is there, if it is already creating, it should be already created. It is created differently. Will be with this data source. That's how you typically play around with performance-related review reports. Clear any questions? No, I meant good. The additional data can be added based on business requests. Any kind of additional values. You know they wanted to have it and I just added to the basic information. But that is still, information can be added. And again I said right, these kind of reports can also be created with the worker business object, which is the primary business object in working. You can also create a worker at the same time when you're creating a worker. Business object, few fields where you wanted to get from review. Manager rating will be an employee review business subject, and you can also get by adding it as a related business object in worker business object. You can also add employee review as a related business object and get these values. If you don't want your report to be sitting in multiple business object, if you wanted to have every value to be sitting in a single business object, whenever you're developing any kind of statements to maintain uniqueness of the business object, you can create calc fields and get them into one single business object, where that will give you a kind of single source term business object report. When you're actually creating any statements, performance-related statements, you can build the statement under one singular primary business object. That's where you can actually plan your reporting. Any questions far? No, but it's good. Now anything that you wanted to know. With the advanced report, we've covered almost all the scenarios. Anything else that you wanted to know with advanced reporting? Oh yes, actually. Sorry, I'm not following. There are calc fields. We have not used calc fields in the reporting until, but once we start creating calc fields, we'll also incorporate those calc fields in our reporting. Until now, we were using the existing delivery fields now in all of our reportings. We have not used any calculate fields, but yes, we'll also have a huge number of calculated fields created in our advanced reporting. Probably when we go over calc fields, we'll still create few advanced reports and have calc fields added to that report. But anything else other than calc fields that you wanted to know about advanced reporting? Not exactly like advanced reporting, but few questions like I told and asked you before. I want to know what is superorg? Super organization or superorg? Supervisory organization. Super radiant organization. Suppose your organization is nothing but a manager. You'll be reporting to your manager, right? Your manager will be managing one organization where who are all reporting to your manager will be part of that organization. Let's say your manager is managing reporting analytics, kind of. Suppose the organization, the app management team, will be working on reporting and reporting to your manager, and your manager will be maintaining one more organization, integrations organization. And the people who are working on integration will be a part of the organization but still will be reporting to your manager, and your manager will be reporting to her manager or his manager, where your manager will be part of the manager's organization, but will be managing the organization that she is maintaining, where you are all the members of the supervisor organization. Manager will not be the member of the organization they are managing. Let's say If your manager is actually holding reporting analytics kind of for supposed organization, they will not be part of the organization. They'll be managing the supervisor organization. They will be part of their superior manager supervisor organization. Their manager will be managing one organization, right? Your managers will be part of that organization. Let's say if you go to organization hierarchy, we take an example. This is a kind of organization hierarchy. If you go to your tenant, you'll also find this kind of organization hierarchy. And this is public. This is not a kind of a private. Anyone, any employee can view this hierarchy. Now, Steve Morgan is a kind of CEO of the company who is the first person, first level of the organization. He'll be managing, and under this organization, these are all the people who are reporting to this organization. And again, these are all the people who have their team members. They are managing the organization. This person, Vice President of Sales, will be managing sales organization where people will be reporting to his organization. And further, they have a few more subordinate organizations where they'll have their own team members. Like that, you will be part of one of the organization, will be rolling up to your manager's organization. Wherever you see a low kind of, suppose your organization, and blue kind of individual employees without any. Suppose that our relation, when I say suppose that our nation is nothing but a manager. For managers, suppose that our nation will be assigned. That multiple team members can be attached to their suppose that our nations reporting to that manager. Suppose that our nation is one of the primary organization we have in work, decorate CM and where it groups. It could suppose that our nation groups all the employees to be part of management hierarchy, which you're seeing here. This is completely a kind of hierarchy. Suppose that our nation allows employees to be part of this hierarchy. If you keep going down, and you'll be getting down same organizations where complete hierarchy will be maintained. And suppose that our nation manages employees to be part of this organization. Hera. If you go to your tenant, you must be seeing you reporting to your manager with one organization. If you go to your profile also, you should be seeing your organization name. If you are your profile, you'll be seeing your supervisor organization. Your manager will be there. This manager will be managing this support. Is it organization? Like that. If you become a manager, and suppose that our nation has to be created for you, and if there are any team members who must be part of the organization who needs to report to you, an organization has to be created, and the needs to assign team members to the organization who will be rolling up to your organization. And next thing is like what a single instance and multi-instance field. There are multiple field types in Workday. Text. We have a text field, date field, currency field, single instance field, multi-instance field. Text field will be holding all the text values. And date field type will be using all the date formatted fields, and currency fields will be using all the amount related. Total base pay is one example that you can take total base pay. If you take, it will be returning a kind of dollar amount, right term currency related fields, and it will be returning single instance and multi-instance are mostly used field types in our reporting. When I say single instance, it returns one row in a report. One row, one value. One value will be returned for one row. Let's say if employee has multiple benefit plans. Probably, if you're an employee of one of the Workday customer, you would be getting multiple benefit plans, right? Health insurance, medical insurance, dental Cigna, all these plans you know you will be getting. These are all benefit plans. Benefit plans are kind of multi-instance field which are holding multiple benefit plans. If there is a delivered field call, I think they've used a field called currently enrolled for benefit plans, right? There is a kind of multi-instance field which returns multiple benefit plans for an employee. If you are enrolled for any benefit, multiple benefit plans, and if I use the current 3 enrolled benefit plans field in the report for you, whatever benefit plans that you are enrolled will be returning in that column in a single column. Multi-instance field will be returning multiple values in a single column. The same scenario, single instance field will be returning one value per row. If you don't want to go with, multiple values to be populating in a single column rather than actually going with the multi-instance, you can create a calculated field with a single instance and get all those values in a single row. I think we've created one report with benefits, right? Let me show you. Let's see one of the report. Well, temporary reports. Have you know something about temporary reports? Like it could be there in the system for 7 days, right? Automatically. Whatever reports that we are creating are turning out to temporary reports. That's why they are set to get deleted and we don't have an option to edit them. If I take this report and this is a temporary, but it has state. If you see here benchmark plans currently enrolled, this is a kind of multi-instance type. Now if I run this report, see here in the multi-instance field benefit plans currently enrolled, you got multiple values in a single column. Multi-instance field will be getting multiple values in a single column. If you go for a single instance, it will return a single value. Same, if you have same field, same field. If you wanted to have single row, you need to create a calculated field with single instance. The calculated field type that, instead of coming in a single column, this will be divided into multiple rows. That will be when you download an actual. All these will be in a separate rows. Right now, if you download an Excel, you will be seeing everything in a single column. But if you wanted to actually have all these plans in a single column, but wanted to have in a different row, you need to actually take this into a kind of single instance. And also you can do one more way. The same report, if you wanted to have this to be in a single instance, what you can do is calculate is one of the better way, and that you can manage. But the other way that you can do is you can actually add that multi-instance field as a kind of business object in a report. Take this one. And this is a business object of report and benefit plan. Now we'll be getting those three values, those three benefit plans, whatever we've seen in a single row, separate rows. Here we got those three plans in a separate row. Now when I extract this, you'll be seeing three rows for this employee with three benefit plans. Earlier when we've used multi-instance, we got all those three plans in a single column. Now when we've used a kind of single instance, we got all those three plans in a separate row. You can also get the same behavior through CLC fields also, but with the approach that we've taken, that also will work. But basically both are giving the same result, right? Same output, values will be same. Only thing is multi-instance will be holding, you can say like in a table which will be holding multiple values. And single instance will be holding different rows in a table. That's where you're seeing. I think that's all questions from my side. I mean, is the class over for today or we have something else to discuss? I'll just get you introduced to matrix and probably will go for hands on creation of matrix report in tomorrow's session. You have seen advanced report, right? The same kind of report entry that you will be giving in matrix report as well. You need to choose your matrix report and you need to choose your filters, your data fields that will be populated. Other than this, there are some kind of different options that are available for matrix report. Basically, matrix report is nothing but which actually groups the values. Let's say if you wanted to know from this location how many employees are there. From this location, how many contingent workers are there? From this location, how many active employees are there? Such kind of requirements you will be getting. Basically, most of the business users will be liking a view of the best user interface to view the data right. Whenever they're asking any kind of, trended reports, trended data, like how many employees are getting hired during this quarter and how many are getting terminated during this quarter. And what is the strength of men employee? What is the strength of women employee? Such kind of things. Trended information when you get an option to create. The first option that you need to think of is matrix report. Matrix report will group all the employees under one condition. If you wanted to return employees who are part of one location, who are part of location, you cannot do that in advanced report. Advanced report will give all the locations and all the employees, and you need to manually do a kind of pivot in Excel sheet. But matrix report will give you option to group all the employees under one location and give you from, United States. These are all the employees from UK. These are all the employees from, India. These are all the employees. Are there such kind of grouping? It does, and it gives you in a graphical format that you choose. There are multiple graphical formats that can be available in Matrix. You can choose whichever format that works for you. You can choose that and create your matrix report, and matrix report will be returning both tabular as well as a graphical format. And it has an option, same options. What advanced report has, a report can be shared. Matrix report can be shared from one user to another user, and it has advanced filtering options. The only thing that it does not have when you compare with advanced report is advanced report has an option to get its own source to be a kind of web service enabled. We can enable that advanced report as a web service, enable and integrate the data from one system to another system. But matrix report does not have that kind of web service enable option because it cannot be integrated to any of the integration in Workday. As I said, right, the matrix report will generate output in a graphical format. When you wanted to integrate this data, the kind of output format Workday delivers will not support that one. Workday's output format is XML format. When you actually integrate data through advanced report, since everything in a kind of singular tabular format, it can be easily integrated. But when you create a matrix report with a graphical format, you cannot integrate your matrix report data to another system. There's a reason why matrix report does not have an option to integrate data from one system to another system. And hence you cannot make your matrix report as a web service enabled report. This would be one of you for going for any kind of reporting training or reporting certification. These are all the questions you will be asked. What kind of output matrix generates, and if you wanted to actually have a kind of tabular format, or both the tabular format and graphical format, which reports gives you a kind of best results. Such kind of questions will be asked. Matrix report is a kind of report that returns the data in a graphical format. And it has an option to drill down into the values and find the output file. It groups the employees, it groups the data into certain conditions and returns the output. Let's say if you have a requirement, recruiting team comes to you and asks, hey, I wanted to actually have a report that returns all the candidates with their salaries and from which source they got hired. Whether it is LinkedIn, whether it is Now Query or any other job portal, Glassdoor, or through our carried website application. Such kind of options. If your recruiting team is giving and wanted to know from which source candidate have joined and their current salaries, all this information, if your recruiting team is asking your matrix report, will actually works in a better way. That actually groups all the candidates from different recruiting agencies from LinkedIn. These many other employees who have joined will show a kind of pie chart in that way. LinkedIn is a kind of sourcing portal which actually got this many employees hide within it. And Glassdoor is a kind of one recruiting agency has sent this many employees, and through our internal career website job application, this many employees have applied to this job and became an employee, such kind of things. If there is a requirement to return the data, you actually choose your matrix report. The reason why we choose matrix report. Matrix report groups the data by certain conditions and return the values accordingly in a graphical format or tabular format. Matrix reports are nothing but which actually drill downs into employee related fields and get the data that you wanted to view. It has an option to drill down, it has an option to actually generate output in a graphical format, and it has an option to have advanced filtering options as well. It's after advanced report. Matrix report is the mostly used common report. And when you get any kind of requirement in matrix, take that, it's nothing. But some leadership team wanted to view the report. Not like advanced report that you will be creating and you will be scheduling. Some of the leadership team wanted to view this information, and hence you will be creating matrix report with all the data required fields that your business will be giving. Now tell me, what is the difference between advanced and matrix? Advanced reports can be used as a web service, but matrix reports, they cannot be used as a web service. And then in matrix report, you can find based on like one common value, like for example, like employees in one country, for example, India, Canada, like that. You can just filter out and it shows you data in graphical format. That's pretty much. And matrix report are best used for dashboards. Mostly used for dashboard. If an employee wanted to view their pay and benefits, we'll be creating a dashboard for them and create a matrix report that returns the data in a graphical format and attached to the dashboard. Employee can go to their pay and benefits dashboard. And once they click on this, your matrix report runs in the background and returns the data in a graphical format. Mostly for such kind of requirements, you'll be using matrix report. Matrix report is again a kind of important report type. Mostly in your entire reporting experience that you're working off, you'll be getting 80% of reporting requirements in advance. And another 20% I can see with matrix and trended. These are the three report types that you will be mostly working. There are other report types you will not get a chance, as how you get a chance to work on advance in matrix reports. And Amit, when we cover matrix reports, do we also cover dashboard? Is it there in the curriculum? Dashboard again. If you go to dashboard, security comes into the picture. You know how to assign a security to the dashboard. All those things will be coming to the picture. Actually, that is not included. But if you wanted to actually know how reports can be configured again, worklets will be coming. Dashboard needs to be configured with worklets, and report needs to be enabled as a worklet, and security has to be assigned to those dashboard that only internet people will be viewing the dashboard, and restricting report access to certain groups of employees, and that group of employees need to have access to the dashboard. All this security also will be coming into the picture when we talk something about dashboard. but I think we can discuss in high level how you can actually enable your report as a worklet and how to configure that worklet in a dashboard. And when you see the dashboard, how your report will be running in the background and return the data in the dashboard. That part we can see, and security also will be coming into the picture. If you again wanted to drill down into security, there are multiple layers of security will be coming. What we can do is we can actually cover report specific dashboards without getting into most discussion about the security. We'll be seeing in high level how the report can be associated with the dashboard. When we do that, can we do something related to like headcount, if that's possible, or something like diversity? You know, like Vibe dashboard, right? Vibe dashboard. What is that? Vibe dashboard. What is that? Inclusion. Something like that. Diversity and inclusion. It's actually based on the headcount of diversity and inclusion. Something like that. Because when we do an example, if we do something related to this, it will be very helpful for me. I think diversity headcount reports are mostly used in matrix report. You have probably can. I think tomorrow we can dedicate this to completely that concept, creating a headcount report and making that as a worklet. Enable that report as a worklet and see if we can attach that to the dashboard and how we can go to the dashboard and view that report. Probably we can actually consider tomorrow's session for this one. We'll create one headcount report and make that headcount report as a kind of worklet and attach that worklet to the dashboard. And you know, the login or proxy is any of the employee to see how they're able to access that report through dashboard. Thank you very much. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.